What do you do when you log into your favorite game, you go to the in-game store, and you see a cosmetic for your favorite character priced like this? Or for your favorite card game, you're missing one card to complete your deck and it has this price tag. When that happens, you do the only sensible thing. You go to Reddit or X and you do what everybody else is doing. You just start screaming. Don't buy it. Don't show them that these are okay prices to have. Just don't buy it and they'll have to adjust their monetization. But here's the problem. That don't buying part, the majority of people already do that. There's this Forbes article that I found right here, and that's titled, "Why It's Scary When 0.15 Mobile Gamers Bring in 50% of the Revenue." Basically, to put it very simple, what this means is that a very, very tiny fraction of any player base, the 0.15%, is responsible for over 50% of the in-app purchases. And the really scariest part, not the part in the title, the scariest part right now is that this article is from 2014. So again, log into your favorite game, go to the in-game store and look at the prices. It's pretty obvious, things have only gotten worse since then. So this 99% of free players isn't really always being valued for their money. I'm using that just to drive home the point that this video is trying to make, but the fact of the matter is they are also being valued for their presence. They are the necessary ecosystem for the whales to even want to spend their money. And that's what this video is about. Your favorite sea mammal, the whale. And why the "if you don't like it, don't buy it" mantra just doesn't really seem to be working anymore. Voting with your wallet, it's always been a lie. But to truly understand why this scam, this lie of voting with your wallet doesn't work anymore, we have to go all the way back, because this phrase wasn't invented by Reddit or X or billion-dollar companies, because it is a pretty noble concept that is just simply rooted in pure ethical consumption. It was about empowering customers back in the day. When you go to a home-owned store,
what do you think this is, 1785?
You go in and you think, I will buy this product that you have, or rather I want to buy this product that you have, but it is simply too expensive. Next customer comes in, thinks the same thing. I would like to buy this, but it's too expensive. So what the store owner does is they lower the price, and then suddenly the product starts getting bought. It's voting with your wallet. My customers aren't buying this, so I have to adjust the price. Your choice mattered because the markets were localized and choices actually mattered. But our modern predatory monetization has completely destroyed this concept. Of course, because when you're dealing with these multi-million-dollar companies like Riot Games, like Blizzard, like any other game, Capcom, you name it, you're not really dealing with that home-owned store anymore. You're dealing with a publisher that simply wants to evaporate the meaningfulness of a single purchase. A market has been created in the past years. Your purchase is no longer a vote for an honest product. You're buying or not buying doesn't really matter anymore. It's not quite a lie, it's not full on a scam, it just doesn't work, and it lets these big corporations get off way too easily when they should be getting way more shit for the way that our transactions are being treated. I want to give one quick example of what this has done to our mind. This is a comment I got on a recent YouTube video where I was criticizing what I thought was a $200 Ari skin. The expensive Ari skin was only $80. My bad, bro. My bad. Right here, I can buy Expedition 33 and Silksong, or I can get Ari in a bathrobe. I mean, the choice is pretty simple when you put it like that. Because the fact of the matter is, they were never relying on the majority spending in the first place. And the industry data has shown this. I'll have a bunch of charts that I'm gonna try to just like organize, or rather that the editor, No Shoes Vlad, thank you, is gonna organize neatly into this video. But there are so many charts, and of course, this industry data, it varies per game, per group of customers, per sale, what they put in the store. But what it comes down to is that this hyper-optimized sector for mobile games as well as now the PC games, these free-to-play games, the top 1 to 2% of players for almost all of them will account for more than 50% of what the company needs to keep running. Let's think about that. Let's put that into perspective. If you need to hit a goal of $100 million in a month, 50 million of that is coming from the wallets of just one in every 100 players. So now imagine you're the average player and reasonably you get upset about a $30 or even $50 skin, right? Reasonably so. But the thing is, even if you start a boycott, even if you withhold your money, it doesn't do anything because the company still hits their revenue target. And this is the important part, because why does this happen? It's simply because your vote, your $0 vote, has already been accounted for.
That's cash in the trash.
They budgeted for you to spend nothing. They were always relying on this small handful of whales to spend all the money that they need to make their sales successful. And then this boycott, it fails because the votes simply aren't distributed fairly. They're not counted fairly. This whale spending $1,000 has 1,000 votes saying, I'm happy with this purchase. And your $0 vote holds 0 votes. This has the different types of personas. So at the top we have the whale. And this is a pretty old model, but I just want to see or show that these companies have all accounted for these type of spenders. And they even have like ways to cater to them in the best possible ways. Don't serve them any ads, keep them focused on in-app purchases instead. For the dolphins, which is the bottom 90% of spenders by revenue, promote the items at a lower price point to these players and offer them currency bundles to maximize the value of their purchases. How long they will play their mobile games on average, how many in-app purchases they will make, how many average revenue per user. Here are the offer takers. Make an offer wall available for when users decide to seek out rewarded ads on their own, and use a combination of videos and interstitials to present rewarded and offers during contextually relevant and non-intrusive moments of your app, like level fill or load screen. It has like different moments where you need to cater or not cater, where you need to show these players your deal. They're all put into brackets. And then the risk of churn players is these players you just show some new content or new friends who start playing the games. New players, it's entirely different. Best to serve them with engagement messages designed to help them get the most from their experience. This is just one example. I'm not saying this is the full truth, but I'm just saying how much thought goes into this by these companies. They literally, like, they have a bracket for whales, they have a bracket for people that don't spend a lot, they have a bracket for dolphins, which if I like a game, I feel like I mostly fall into the dolphin phase. I like spending some money on a game I like. I don't want to spend thousands every month, but I was just completely blown away when I started looking into this and noticed how companies just have these different models for how they want to treat their players, depending on how much money they spend. If I don't spend any money, they're not saying, oh, this guy is unhappy with this deal. No, they're saying, okay, you go into the little seahorse bracket, you go into the plankton bracket. We don't care about this guy. We gotta keep catering to these whales to keep our game running. So that also means that yes, games need to make money. That is a very important thing. We've seen certain games not do well or get shut down because they weren't making any money. This video isn't against that. It's not against, oh, companies shouldn't be allowed to make money. Everything we should get for free. But it is simply against this predatory and exploitative monetization that we've been seeing in recent years. Now, is that a horrible thing? Because at the end of the day, if a whale is spending 1,000 on some stuff and I'm spending 0 on it, does that impact me in any meaningful way? Technically not really, right? But then like there are these other tactics that they're using, FOMO, just to name one of them. And suddenly you start to realize how much this plays into the human psychology. I'll continue going into that a little bit more, but I've gone like 10 minutes or more already.
You lied to me!
Just talking about this stuff at face value, but let's look at some proper examples. The biggest one, League of Legends. League of Legends made a shift to a mythic gacha crate system, and it kind of creates this artificial scarcity. What they used to do, what Riot Games used to do, they used to sell their legendary skins for, I want to say about $30. Think of like DJ Sona. It was Ezreal. I forgot the full name.
What is that?
And then the one I really remember was Udyr's visual update. You had to spend $30 to actually play old Udyr and not have him look like a pizza boxed PlayStation 1 graphic kind of guy.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
These skins were expensive, single transaction, and you knew exactly what you were getting. That was the old system. It was flawed in its own way, but if I buy the skin, that's what I get. But then a year, 2 years ago, I think it's basically a year ago, there is a similar tier of exclusive, well, not exclusive, there's a similar tier of cosmetics, and that is the prestige or mythic variants. And it's locked behind this insane labyrinth of different resources and currency systems. Because you can't buy these skins directly anymore. You have to open and pray after like 1,000, well, there is a pity timer, but like dozens of these gacha capsules or loot crates, as most games like to call them. And this is all during a limited time event. So it's not like you can keep opening boxes forever. No, you have like a month for this. And during this month, you better open enough crates to get the skin you want. Otherwise, we're moving to a new banner. We're moving to a new season. We're moving to a new set of cosmetics. And then every single crate you open gives you like usually some garbage. It gives you like mythic essence. It gives you event tokens. It gives you blue essence. I don't know what the hell, man. Maybe a trash skin that you can buy in the store too. Just all of this garbage. You're still going through it with the hope that you hit that 1 in 1,000 pool. It's like a 0.01% to pull the best skin possible. It's gambling. It's gambling. You're technically paying money because you can technically win. You can technically pull the skin in one single roll. Man, 10 years ago, I know that there were some other games, and I'm responsible for this. I was an insecure little kid, and I think I opened, like, maybe it was Hearthstone or something. I opened 100 Hearthstone packs, and I just really wanted Tyrion Fort Ring. I just wanted this one card, and I didn't want to craft them or something. And I told my friends, oh my god, I bought 3 packs and I opened him. I'm so lucky, bro. I didn't spend any money on this, but in reality, I spent like 100 packs. I was insecure about it. And I just realized how much this messed with my head. These systems are, they're insane, man. Like they play on so many different human emotions. And I'm just, that's what this video is, right? I'm just trying to make you aware. I'm not doing anything new. Necrit has made 5 videos on the new Jhin skin, on the new Jinx skin, on the new Mordekaiser skin. I know, I'm not the first to do this, but I'd like to go a little more in depth on how they're doing this, why you shouldn't fall for it, what different tactics that they're using. And also, I just want to expose how disgusting it really is. All you're getting by opening all these crates is some garbage currency systems. And that is the next point, because you're hungry. You're going to the store and you're like, yeah, I want to buy 1 hot dog. To make a hot dog, you need 1 dog and 1 bun. But here's the thing, the store only sells hot dogs in packs of 10, and they only sell buns in packs of 8. So even though you only need 1 bun and 1 dog, you're forced to buy both items, and because the quantities don't match, you have this leftover / wasted money, and it forces you to make more purchases when you only really want 1. So if we then look at microtransactions in stuff like League of Legends, where they give you like 50 different currencies, here's what happens. The one specific item that you want costs 3,000 premium currency, 3,000 riot points, but the currency bundles are either 2,500 and 1,000. So if you want to buy both, you get a total currency of 3,500. This 500 that you have left over is wasted. It's just sitting there. And because it's just sitting there, you're kind of incentivized to spend even more. You don't want to waste that money. So why not buy another 1,000, buy something that's 1,250, and then you have 250 just laying around there. So you're like, okay, well, I might as well spend that as well. Now imagine that you have 10 different currencies that are all trying to accomplish this. Okay, I have a couple of left laying around over here. Oh, I have a couple left over here. Let's just fill it up.
Money.
And make sure that I can actually make this purchase and hit the right amount that I want. You keep spending, and this hot dog, this bun, well, slowly you're getting fat and you're losing all your money on this system. But the voting with your wallet, even if you make a small purchase, even if you buy something for your favorite champion, eventually you're gonna be left with this small amount that you want to keep spending. Like, I'm actually just depressed because I got a drink and I was like, okay, before I continue rambling, getting upset at this video, let's quickly look at the Steam store. I'm looking at Elden Ring, right? This is a game that took a team thousands of hours to create, tens of thousands. There is so much work that goes into this single game. And it's cheaper than the newest Jinx skin. Now, I'm not saying anything about the quality of that Jinx skin. I know that the people at Riot simply gave a project to somebody, to a team that makes that skin. Everything that goes into it, the model, the VFX, the SFX, the splash art. I'm not diminishing any of that. It is of high quality. And that team is simply delivering that skin because they got that request from Riot, right? They want to make that skin. But then for them to price it at close to $200, the time that goes into that skin is nothing compared to a single Elden Ring. And it's just because of this fake scarcity, just because of this FOMO. The pricing is purely based on maximizing the whale revenue, not on production cost or even player value, like least of all the player value. And because this is a card gaming channel, I do want to quickly touch on the card gaming market because this is a market that's kind of based on necessity. Some cards are super expensive. We can see it with Riftbound right now, the best cards in the game. They're going upwards of $50, probably even more. It's almost impossible to get a booster box. But here's the thing, right? To compete in these games, there is one core object, and that is to be the best. You want an optimized deck. You want to play with the meta. Because these decks very often rely on like a single or a couple of really good cards that are really expensive and that are unlikely to be pulled in packs unless you buy, hundreds of packs. This voting with your wallet in card games simply means that if you're not spending money by voting with your wallet, it means you're not competing. It means you're not playing meta. To compete, you are forced to buy singles, to buy packs. The only reasonable thing you can do to acquire the full competitive card set is to buy dozens or even hundreds of these packs. And what's worse is that people like Wizards of the Coast, I'm just gonna call out Magic here, they're selling the sealed product like booster packs, and people aren't really complaining about the price of these booster packs, but they're complaining about the price of single cards. And these are sold by local game stores or online vendors, like on TCG Market or something, right? So the people are saying, okay, but it's not Wizards of the Coast that is setting these to $100 per card. The market is. But that is also just like this really weird lie, because it's Wizard of the Coast that's creating this artificial scarcity through these tools like highly limited collection booster packs. And then they put them at a really low print rate, so they look more rare than they actually are. It's why scalpers get this perfect environment to thrive. They buy up all the supplies at a retail price, and then they just flip it for this insane market price, and we just have to deal with it if all we want to do is compete. The thing is that because the second market operates like that, it kind of legitimizes Wizard of the Coast initial high price for the sealed product. And it's like you're sitting there looking at these prices on TCG Market, and you're like, what are you gonna do? Scalpers are just literally disgusting rats, and everybody hates them, but we haven't really found a proper way to just terminate them yet. And you can't boycott this secondary market. If you want to play a tournament, you have to pay to play. And this all leads me to the final point, and probably the most demoralizing one, is that if you're voting with your wallet, it's, like I said, seen as a budgeted failure. It's registered as a data point that simply confirms their strategy. It's like, okay, yeah, we knew this guy wasn't going to buy the $200 Jinx skin. We're putting him in this bracket. This guy is not even a dolphin. This guy is not even the one offer taker. This guy is water. This guy is plankton. Because these companies are focused on a metric that's called LTV, the lifetime value. They use algorithms, and they have spreadsheets, thousands of them, to predict how much money every single player is going to spend. When you refuse to buy a skin, this is what the spreadsheet says about you. This player's lifetime value remains low. They are not our target demographic. Voting with your wallet is not a weapon. It's not, I'm going to do this to show the company that they are wrong. It is simply putting yourself on the sideline. It's resignation. It's not wanting to be part of it anymore. And that's valid. It matters for you. But if you want the game to be better, it doesn't do anything. In fact, it probably makes things worse. Be careful. That's all I can really say. I want the world to do better. I want us to do better and see these things and see them coming and know how to recognize them. But at the end of the day, that's all we can do. Know how to recognize them.